Hello, I'm Sergey Gorchakov. I'm CEO of CryptaCount. Okay, let me share my screen and we start. So we are creating the solution which would allow to do accounting of crypto transactions. Why basically the numbers speak for themselves. You can check out on this slide. And we are developing the solution. We have developed an MVP so far, and we will be extending it, of course, to cover all the issues. So this is the scheme of the platform. So as you can see, we process transactions on top 40 as of today, different blockchains. We also add different centralized exchanges and some other sources of crypto transactions. Everything is being processed for accounting purposes. First of all, of course, you're able to get um, different journals in your accounting systems. We're gonna add API for developers, so more advanced users later on. And on top of that, we'll be able to produce tax returns or certain uh, addendums to the tax returns, which could be filed directly, of course, depending on your country. Okay, let me show the product we have developed so far. This is the login screen of the system. And it could be a login of a company which has certain crypto transactions, or like in this case, it could be an accounting company. Okay, let me start with the chains. We on the screen we have included all the chains we do support right now. For example, you can see BTC or Ethereum here, and most of other chains are EVM, excuse me, based. So based on Ethereum, and of course some others. For example, Polygon Avalanche and some others. And of course, we gonna add more chains uh, onto the platform. So as you can see here, you can edit details of your company. In this case, it's an accounting company. And it could be either one workspace or like in this case, you might have different workspaces. For example, if it's different clients of yours or something like that. We have included, for example, Tesla BTC public wallet, where you're able to do certain calculations. But let's take a look at this client, which is the default workspace right now. So we just can, of course, select one of those, but yeah, let's take a look at this one. So we can change also details, what could be done here. So this is our company. You can pick up the currency. Right now, we've included the main ones, dollar, euro, British pound, and dirham in the United Arab Emirates. Also, you can pick up the accounting type, what is required for your transactions. We've noticed that although LIFO, for example, is prohibited for IFRS purposes, but it could be used in certain countries. For example, in Germany, for tax purposes, it's allowed to use LIFO, so we're gonna add it. But you can pick up here different, let's say, counting methods, how your crypto transactions can be accounted for. For example, fair market value is typical um, calculation of all your transactions. So it means if you purchased one BTC, let's say 10, 12 years ago for that low amount, which was at that time, and it is still now, you still have that BTC and the price has gone up significantly. Of course, it has to be revalued. But if you want to do historic accounting of your uh, purchases in your wallet, of course, it could be different story. Either FIFO or weighted average if it's required for certain accounting companies, or some auditors might uh, prefer to do those different options. And also neutralizable value, for example, it means that your assets are being revalued only downward. So it means if the current market value is below your original purchase price, you have to recognize an impairment. But if the price has gone up, the balance sheet date, you don't revalue it upwards. Uh, of course, it could be edit. There could be more methods later on. And the period, how you would like to calculate the most appropriate period for most of companies. I guess it could be monthly, but you might also have different other methods in case if you prefer preciseness per transaction to check all the values per transaction, or for example, if you do it just annually, yeah, it's all up to you. Okay, what do we have also? We have currency rates. For example, if you need to translate, of course, USD is the main currency in the crypto world. But, if your client or you are based in Europe, for example, of course, you have to report in euros. And that's why you can add reporting currencies. And for us, we update that automatically. You also have cryptocurrencies. We update it from time to time, but of course, after the month end, we just update all the symbols, all the prices. The next step, you are able to add your general ledger accounts from your accounting system or some other mm, sources where you do your accounting. For example, it could be a real one where you have different expenses, assets, liabilities, and you can allocate your wallets. For example, this could be one internal wallet, and there are certain fees, meaning, of course, gas fees, what has been called gas fees in the crypto world, but it has to be accounted for probably differently. And the same goes in respect of revaluation, revaluation in dollars. Okay, there could be some other wallets. Of course, there could be internal wallets, which you gonna include here, on some external wallets in case you send something out of your wallets or you get something from external wallets. You could do a separate GL account. You could use a separate GL account for one of those wallets. You also might show your revaluation currency for, meaning your reporting currency, in case if you do translation from USD into euros, you're gonna report your gain or loss into one of the accounts. So you can allocate it here. And of course, you can assign some other GL accounts for one of your different types of digital assets here. Let's take a look at the wallets. For example, for these clients, of course, it's test one, but you can see, for example, we have this number of wallets, 43 in this case. So we just, for simplicity, add a name which could be used here. Of course, you would add hash here. In case of BTC, it would be a little bit different, but you can also add it here. Let's take a look at this one. So when adding the hash, of course, it's allowed to. The very first step would be to scan the wallet in order to understand which change it could be using and what assets are in it. So let's take a look at this wallet. So you can see that we've scanned all the supported chains, and it uses quite a lot of chains, as you can see here, from Ethereum to Avalanche to Polygon and so on and so forth. Of course, you cannot select some of your chains if you don't want to do accounting for those chains, or if you don't want to recalculate or include it somehow. And the same could be in respect of assets. Of course, we filter so-called spam assets in case if somebody sends you uh, some fake or some assets onto your wallet which you typically don't have any value. We remove those automatically, but on top here you might exclude, for example, if you don't need wrapped Ethereum here, you just unselect it. and you can reject it at any future date. For example, when you have new chains, new assets, it could be rescanned. And also you can see here that, for example, bit layer is not supported just yet. We're gonna add it a little bit later, but for this particular case, it means that probably the balance was minor, or we just don't need accounting, don't need to do accounting for this wallet. And you see, for example, this one was last scanned in May. Of course, we can rescan and we can add more in case if there are some new assets, so on and so forth. And you can go and check, for example, sync details. It's more technical. There are some more some technical details for us, but you can see some blocks. Of course, we also want to see trace what we've done, in our scanning of all the transactions here. Uh, the next step, of course, you can add accounts on centralized exchanges. Right now, we have added Kraken and OKX, and we support we support a couple of other CXs right now, but we're gonna add more and more, of course, with new clients. When we have more clients on board and to the platform, we gonna be adding support of those CXs. And the same thing here. You can synchronize, you can take a look at the transactions in the form which have been fetched from the CX, and it will be translated into accounting entries later on. Okay, here you can select, let's say you can select a wallet, and you can select different periods, whatever you like. And by default, there are monthly balances. For example, for this client, we have in 2025, we have all the months which have been calculated for August. So presumably, there is no point to do this calculation right now. Uh, and of course, you can go into details. You can delete, recalculate everything if something is not done there. You might see progress, for example, if something is being calculated right now, and you can see also final balances. You can go into details and take a look what is here. So how it works: when once we've showed the wallet, we start the process, and basically all the crypto transactions are being fetched into the platform, and we see different hashes. We see different transactions on different chains in this particular month. And for example, let's go here. We have some transactions, so you can see details, timestamp of the particular transaction. And you can see here, of course, it could be zeros, really some minor accounts, but in case there are some significant amounts, they will be allocated. You can also check and allocate your GL account, like I said before. You have to allocate all internal and external wallets, so you would have your debits and credits here. Missing GL account means that nothing has been allocated for this particular transaction. Let's go to the next step. And of course, if you would prefer to export, you can do it. So you can export just in plain Excel, or it could be CSV format, or you could do a pivot table in case you need just summary of all your numbers. At the same time, you can create journals into which could be posted into different accounting systems. We have implemented already QuickBooks, Zoho Books, Xero, Chematica, and there will be more uh, and more systems which we're gonna add here. Okay, let's try to download here. For example, something has been formatted already. So in this case, it was an Excel format. And let me open the file and move it here. So basically what you can see here, for January, we have already included different dates, timestamps, our wallet hash, chain, transaction hash, so you can always reconcile it. And there, for example, have been different accounts already allocated, so don't uh, when looking at it, typically you would have a GL account which would include numbers, but just this accounting system does have this GL account, which has been called wallets dash something there, right? So you can see that there could have been internal wallets, and right away you can see that there is a missing GL account. And in this case, you can see that for this wallet, we've received some, or probably no, it was sent out. And yeah, you can see here out. So we sent something out and we sent it to this wallet. And because we haven't included this exact hash of the wallet into our system, it thinks it's an external one. And what we need to do, we just need to show it somewhere. So it would go to a specific GL account. For example, we could have paid to our supplier, or it could have been sent to a crypto exchange. You can see we've sent link 345 something was the amount of link, and this is the dollar equivalent, and it's here. And so, long story short, in the end, that's what you get. You get all your accounting transactions, and you will have, for example, different accounts for revaluation. So it would just go there. Okay, I think that's about it. And of course, we are still developing the platform, but this is the MVP, and everything is being done inside the platform. Of course, we have several servers under the hood, which basically process transactions from different blockchains, which need to be supported for some of chains we do use. Our own servers where we take full archival nodes, and we of course process those transactions. Yeah, but this is the end result, which will be improved later on throughout our journey with existing beta clients. Okay, thank you.